This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. It was a nightmare.
Flight 807, you're clear for landing. Runway 7, Bravo. All personnel report to the nearest tornado shelter. This is not a drill.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Now, as usual, I give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it, folks. So let's waste no time. Woo-wee! Let's get to it! Story number 1. Ohioans allowed to light up the night on the 4th of July. A new law allows Ohioans to legally discharge fireworks on certain holidays, according to a local article. Fireworks can be lit off in accordance with the 3-day July 4th holiday weekend period. The legal limit of discharge is about 1.4 G's of consumer fireworks on certain days, unless a local government such as a township, village, or city bans the use of fireworks. The old law did not grant this freedom. Ohioans had to purchase consumer-grade fireworks in Ohio, but had to transport them out of the state within 48 hours under the old law. Now, the new law cites age limits, certain dates, locations as to where the fireworks can be lit off. It also has aerial limitations, firework purchase weight limitations, and state restrictions in the new law. Now, the local Mediator article was published June 27th. If you want to check it out, and it is definitely worth a read if anyone plans on bringing in Independence Day with fireworks and they want to play by the rules. That's why story number 1 made it this week. Story number 2. What next for YSU after Tressel? As of February 1st, 2023, Jim Tressel plans to step down after a long accomplished history at YSU. According to a Mediator article published June 23rd, 2022, Tressel's list of accomplishments includes an increase in enrollment for the first time in 5 years. He also has increased the university also showed increased graduation rates, minimal tuition increases, and the university also expanded scholarship opportunities and increased housing opportunities across the campus. Now, as a football coach, Tressel won 4 national titles with YSU. Now, how students feel about the university really depends on who you ask, but YSU has been in constant headlines due to a number of diverse views about the future of the university. Right now, the future seems uncertain, and now with Tressel leaving, it may these stories may even be more big. They may even create more attention. Now, according to another article published Friday, June 24th, Tressel says that he plans to continue assisting the university the best way he can, but he will be stepping down as president. That's why story number 2 made it this week. Story number 3. Cashing in on tourism. A few local attractions have made headlines because of tourist activity. Mill Creek Park and a few hotels have made the news because of an increase in tourist activity. Now, this is good for analysts and business owners looking for an opportunity to benefit from this new data. So this is good stuff. Mill Creek Park has made a number of headlines because when travel costs and other recreational activity increases, people head to the park. Now, hopefully the increase in tourist activity holds up because it could really benefit the local market and really increase activity. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Story number 4. Local companies are still fighting for a place in the electric vehicle market. Foxconn and Youngstown Motors are still in the headlines. Now, it's about networking and soliciting for funds to continue on with its goal in what now seems like a very competitive electric vehicle market. It's important to note that several major car makers have already succeeded in the introductory phase of introducing their own branded forms of electric vehicles. Ford has introduced the Lightning, which has gained mass attention, and other manufacturers are already making major progress when it comes to electric vehicles and the trucks also. Now the pressure is on Lordstown Motors, and at the moment the progress seems very, very slow. So the pressure is on them to produce, but progress seems very, very slow. The electric vehicle brand has pushed back several production goal dates, and the story is still developing. That's why I made it this week. Story number 5. Austintown is beefing up its force. Austintown Police Department swore in 3 officers. Autumn Cox, 22, of Austintown, Austin Householder, 23, of Canfield, and Chad Phillips, 21, of Austintown. According to a local Vindicator article published June 28th, the officers still have about 6 months of training, 6 months of training before they're allowed to be on their own. Now, the 3 new officers were accepted out of 25 applicants. So good luck, and we'll see how this develops as more people are turning to police, and they're trying to beef up their force as things get a little bit out of control. So that's why story number 5 made it this week. Big hit. Story number 6. Steelite International in Youngstown could be a good fit. Steelite International, a Newcastle, PA company, could be relocating its executive headquarters to the Taft Technology Center in downtown Youngstown. According to a local article published June 24th, the company will also be moving its 75 employees to the building with it. Now, being in the hospitality industry, the company looked at Youngstown as a good fit because of Youngstown's entertainment growth potential. Now, the article goes on to say that the goal is to be moved by October. This is $2 million to $3 million is the amount of money set for improvements. The company has a rich history with a vast array of services and products. That's why story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 this week, because this could in the future maybe equal out to some more jobs. Who knows? Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Ain't no story, look it up. Ain't no story good enough. The Mediator's give it to you, baby. I'm delivering 2 top local stories. Take me away. Top stories, local stories, big headlines. Story number 7. How safe are Youngstown officials? Story number 7. Municipal Judge Carla Baldwin voiced her concerns about after council members received threatening emails. They said they were going to hunt them down with some big guns. Big headline. Now, the FBI has been investigating the incident, and at the moment, the judge is focused on security. What got this story in is the fact that no one has been caught, and local officials are taking the threats very, very serious. Story number 7 almost made it to the top this week, because when you get threat, that's a big, especially officials, that's a big headline. Story number 8 at the top. Local headline and developing news story for Independence Day for you, to keep you informed. That's all I'm here for. I don't get paid. I don't do nothing, but I just look through the stories for you. I'm a little man with a little life, little bitty dreams. I just want to keep it basic and simple. That's all I want to do. I just want to tell a story, get in, get out, keep it peaceful, no conflict, no nothing. That's what I do. If you do, you do. You do what you do. I do what I do. That's what story number 8. Story 8. Let's get to the top story this week. Yeah. Story number 8. Youngstown is in a fight to overcome so many disappointments, folks. The city seems to be moving on. We had some things going on. The city had to face a chill can saga, which hit the city with a low blow. But even in the hardest of time, the city seems to be focused on the inner core of the city, and that's downtown. Now, outside of downtown, the city managed to get Market Street paved, which was a big deal. But now some residents say that the city really needs to focus on the neighborhoods and invest more in the neighborhoods, because the neighborhoods are falling apart. Now, rebuilding houses and getting residents better living conditions and jobs So we got the story in. Crime continues to haunt Youngstown. With children find a dead body in a park as reported on the city's north side, Crandall. This is a problem. Crandall Park. Now, many residents feel that Youngstown can, at times, feel like a third world country. That is what got this story in and what has it still trending, because Youngstown has to improve and it has to get better, and better living conditions is what people want. That's why story number 8 made it to the top this week. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories. So don't you go anywhere. You're in the media with me, Bro West. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, there was a comedian way back in the day who would talk about baby's kids, bad kids. And this Independence Day, you got to think about this, because now adults have been trying to get it together for a while with this American independence and understanding the nature of this holiday. I mean, you got different races, different ethnic groups. But America got some bad kids. Bad ass kids. I tell you, this kids will literally drive you insane. If you was dumb when you mess with them, you'll be smart when you get done with them. Because they will test you. Lord. Ass whooping. Woo, that's what they need. But they don't want to bring it back. Discipline is very important. The American child, Lord, can be so spoiled at times. Spoiled. They got everything. Oiled down looking girls, booty loos, videos, ticket talks, Twitter, Facebook. American kids are beyond independent. They've gone crazy. Ooh, Lord. And I remember when my mama pulled me to the side and she, boy, you better get it together. It taught me something very, very, very amazing about this life and this culture. Is that you got to follow rules and you got to listen to older people. And sometimes as a child, you may be right, but mama is always right and you're wrong. Woo! Lord, this Independence Day, instead of bringing out fireworks, I think it may be time to bring back some discipline. Ooh, yeah. Well, folks, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This Independence Day, let's think about the children. What about the children? They're so easy offended, so easy to offend, so easy to do wrong. Let's start getting them to do right. Happy Independence Day. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Have you asked nonprofits how they are doing? America has an extensive nonprofit network, folks, and many of these nonprofits struggle to get the financial help that they need. Now, what got the story in is the fact that Virginia police are investigating a mysterious at-home overnight murder of a D.C. nonprofit founder. The story is still developing as many nonprofits weather the storm and in these uncertain times. That's why story number 1 made it this week. Big man. Story number 2. There is a history lesson being learned this Independence Day, folks. How America evolved into the country it is today is constantly being tested and in the headlines. It has become clear that a country that has done everything it possibly can to uphold its independence and establish freedom and justice for all may not only be able to please everybody, but it seems like almost every day that's impossible to please everybody. This Independence Day, observers see a country trying to hold on to its foundation, which some spectators at times say is flawed, very flawed, but those are just speculations, so people are optimistic. The main question is why? Why question that? The truth is that many past political figures saw this coming in the passage of certain laws over time. Certain American visions like the Great Society, and even as far back as the Liberation Movement, which allowed a lot of voting things taking place. Now, this created a ripple effect of current events over time. Each phase has shaped the America we now live in today, but sometimes all it takes for a country to regain its confidence back is just for basic reflection on its history, mixed with a little bit of optimism in regard to the future. America has come a long way, and that may be the case this Independence Day, and that's maybe what people may be trying to do to make things better. That's why story number 2 made it this week. Story number 3, evaluating how police stories reach the global stage. From slave chasers to Nazi comparisons, it is very, very important to get an understanding on why stories are reaching the global stage, especially police stories, and staying in the headlines. These days, the police are a force for good, depending on who you ask. How that happened still remains a mystery. Now, one Tennessee man is on the run and is considered armed and dangerous after shooting a police officer. So this is in Tennessee. So now, if the suspect hasn't been caught already, he has been identified as 34-year-old Samuel Quentin Edwards. So these stories have been consistent in what still seems like an underground war being waged against the police. Just when you think such stories are fading out of the headlines, another one emerges, and this story is a prime example. That's why story number 3, big headline. Story number 4, young people are dying, and that's not good. They're dying early. South Africa officials have reported 22 teenagers found dead in a bar, and no one knows how they died. They were celebrating their end of school exam, and they were drinking, according to the report, and the body showed no sign of physical abuse or violence. The U.S. has a problem as well due to crime when it comes to young kids. Criminal activities have taken the life of so many young adults that everyday people are taking notice, with some giving up their guns. Some people are just turning in their guns, and but to see everybody do that, I don't think that's going to happen, but there is hope. Now, this story is still developing. That's why story number 4 almost made it to the top 4 this week. Well, folks, those are our top 4 international headlines and developing news story that made it this week. I'll be right back with the top 4. So don't you go anywhere. You're the Mediator with me, Bro West. I'll be right back. If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's method.inc.com. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week, folks. Not only is it Independence Day, but it is also my birthday is actually this week. I will be turning the ripe old age of 40, so I'm getting old. And when I was first born, I didn't want to come into this world. I didn't want to. When I was born, you probably wondering how I remember, but I remember. I came out, no, put me back in, no. The doctors tried to cut my umbilical cord. I smacked them. Don't you know, don't be touching me. I gave them doctors hell. I mean, I got out, and the crazy part about me, when I was born, I was able to run. They got me out, I ran out, and they had to chase me down. I was an alien. You know, when you're born with superpowers as a mediator, you know, I had to get my they call it cryptoids and all that stuff, and my media bots came to the rescue. But my mother, when she was having birth, she's like, I came out, I came out speaking all types of language. Doctors say, "Oh Lord, you got an alien baby, alien," and my special powers. That's when I started realizing that I was a different child, different type of child, And there's a lot of babies that grow special powers, but my special powers were to mediate, And then how the story goes is when we got to the church, and all the people, the prophets gathered around, they put me up. This is how the story goes on my birthday. His boy was born to mediate. And everybody, hallelujah. John the Baptist came out, they baptized me, put me under water, and I came out a holy mediation. Yep. Well, that's my birthday story, and I'm sticking to it. I even made a birthday song for me. But it doesn't make much sense. There ought to be a longings, and on about it, and it would. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. You know, all my birthdays I've spent with my mom. Not too many people care too much about my birthday, but I'm glad I got to spend this first mediation birthday with you. Isn't that special? Last year, I don't think I even brung it up, but this year, we're going to make a change for mediation. Well, folks, let's not waste too much more time. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Religion, abortion, and reality collide. Speaking of my birthday. Abortion is bad. And most people know that, folks. Religion offers redemption, and it, in some cases, can send a lot of people to hell for what they've done if they don't believe in the certain religious laws. But from a reality standpoint, this story is huge after the Supreme Court axed a pivotal case that gave women years of freedom to choose. Roe versus Wade. Since then, enough babies have been aborted since that pivotal case some years back. A lot of babies have been aborted, and so many have been aborted that these babies could have started a whole new civilization. That's how many babies have been aborted. That's how many people have been killed, babies. Now, why this matters hits on all fronts, because the life that could have been passed into reality creates so many narratives and talking points. This one topic could be reported and scripted for movie plots related to all genres, even horror movies. If you get the gist, that means that this story alone could create so many different talking points and storylines, because when a child is not brought into the world, you don't know where that energy goes. Big way to explain it. Now, this is a serious topic because people are born and die every day, but a lot of women are hysterical about this simple fact of abortion. They think they have a right. Now, this could change the way things have been done, because now things have changed. The Roe versus Wade has been overturned by the Supreme Court. Since the first decision of this is the first decision to do this. Things have took a turn to now they're just finally deciding to overturn this. Now, decisions are being made because we're talking about an industry that has made some serious money aborting babies. Now, this is what's happening in this story. It's also important to note that we're talking about human beings of all races, creeds, and colors. Now, a coach kneeling to pray and 2 Jesuit priests killed at a church also has this story brewing, because religion, reality, and abortion are real stories. This church was in Mexico where these Jesuit priests were murdered, and this is what's keeping all of these stories alive, because we're talking about religion, abortion, reality, women's rights, all this stuff, and people kneeling and praying, and this is all tied up in the Supreme Court cases. That's why story number 5 made it this week. Big headline. Story number 6. There is something very demented about the drug war. Cannabis use has risen. It has increased with its legalization, because people is now in many states is legal to smoke the Buddha. And COVID-19 lockdowns, according to the UN, say that it's made it no better. The UN has reported all this increase. Now, drug traffickers in California had in their possession 150,000 fentanyl pills during a traffic stop. Now, this is just half of the drug problems. The big problem is getting people to kick the habit. That's one of the biggest problems, to get them off the drugs. The drug stories are so bad and disgusting that the victims are literally left with nothing. They're poor out on the streets, and many find themselves burned out, in debt, and enslaved to the drug dealers. These are serious stories, folks, causing serious problems, thus keeping the drug stories in the headlines. Story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 this week. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. I'm going to keep this short and sweet to keep you informed. So I'm going to get to it. I'm not going to waste any more time. Story number 7. More news coming in about Russia. This is a frightening story. The story that is nagging at the coattail of just about everyone in the money and global arena is Russia. Why? Just decide to go in and just massacre another little country that's close home, that used to be even a part of the Soviet Union. Small stories about Putin's health are even making headlines, folks. They're talking about him even, some of them said he has cancer, some that said he only has 2 years to live. Nobody knows what the truth is, but these stories are surfacing. Russia's money situation is also in the spotlight because news is out that Russia is believed to have defaulted on its debt for the first time since 1998. This is according to a BBC report. Fortune reports that Putin's war is not only destroying Russia's economy, but it's also killing America's as well. The story is developing, and why it made it in is because many people are blaming inflation and cost wars and gasoline wars on this story. That's why story number 7 almost made it to the top this week. Big headline. Story number 8 at the top. Whew! International headline and developing news story that made it this week. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stars and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang like bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Woo! 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 Yeah! Let the Independence Day begin! Oh! I choked up so much. All my life I've been wanting to do that. I didn't do it how I wanted to sing it, but I sung it for freedom. Story number 8. Ooh, yeah. Story number 8. The crisis at the border is a very serious story. Talk about America. Once again, the U.S.-Mexico border stories are in top headlines. Fox News headlines reads that a reporter filmed hundreds of migrants running across the Arizona border. The report goes on to say that the migrants are being incentivized to cross into the United States. There's other stories still in circulation about migrants' death after at least 50 bodies were found in an abandoned truck. This is very, very sad. Poverty and desperation was cited as the cause of death, according to Mexico's president. It's important to note that these stories remain consistent with no action. Such stories are keeping much needed attention on the growing border crisis, which may take a collaborative effort from Mexico and the United States. That's what story number 8 made it to the top this week. Folks, it's Independence Day. I'm sure you probably got a kick out of my mediation version of the Star Spangled Banner. If you can do it in any country, it can be America, folks. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you got something out of today's program. I always get something out of doing the research. As usual, I'd like to thank all the news outlets and journalists, the people on the front lines, the Mediator. You deserve all the media. You deserve all the credit. I'm just the mediator, folks. I just come in here and I just go off the cuff. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to show some support, it does not take much. All I do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor the program. Have a good week, everybody. I hope I lighten the load for you. Have a good week. Thank you for tuning to the Mediator with me, Brian West. It's a crazy world, but you got to sing a song. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the Mediator with me, Brian West. Peace.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.